There are two things I can ask you here. One's about the Carrack, and I'm not going to do that.
Hey everybody, this is Minion Soldier, and this is Ship Updates. So now that we've gotten the Carrack update out of the way, let's talk about another ship. And this time we are talking about the rarely seen, though often mistakenly talked about, F8 Lightning. Now the F8 Lightning, a screenshot of it popped up in Reddit this week, and of course it's a ship that has a lot of people excited. It's pretty much the only other heavy fighter in the Star Citizen lineup, though how you get it is apparently, to some people, still a mystery. Now, we've known since 2015 that this was unlocked via an achievement in Squadron 42. Now, I have reported on that fact many a times, though apparently I'm still a big fucking idiot. And what I say is Travis Day dropped this back in 2015. Chris Roberts confirmed it last January. How do people still not know this? I don't know. But there's that. And of course, if you're a concierge, and this is where I'm a little fuzzy on it, I think it's if you have back to the 10,000 or 25,000 mark, you also get this ship for free with LTI and a jump drive, in case you're wondering, I'm sure. Though I'm not too sure about those number values because, quite frankly, I don't have that much skin in the game. But that is the F8 Lightning. It looks super cool, and apparently you can still unlock it via getting to a point within Squadron 42, I was about to say Star Citizen, where you actually end up using this ship in the game. And then I'm a little bit fuzzy on the details because I don't think Chris Roberts was ever that specific on what particular part unlocks it, but I believe there's a certain achievement or something that you have to get once you get to the point in the game where you can fly this ship, and that allows you to purchase it in game. Now, whether you can purchase it out of game for real money, not sure, but it does end up becoming available to you for doing something within Squadron 42. Now, Sandy Gardner also gave us this shot. This is, of course, the interior of the Constellation Phoenix, the terrible, awful ship which pushed the Cutlass Blue and the Cutlass Red out of the production cycle so that Josh Coons could work on this instead. Yet another example of the 1%ers taking advantage of the rest of us. Now, today on RTV, we had Chris Roberts, of course, continuing his fine tradition of simulcasting everything he said in sign language. And he was also giving us information about various in-game systems and things that are coming in future releases of the game. In 3.2, one of the things that he dropped was, of course, turret fixes, which are a big deal in Star Citizen. There's a lot of ships that are turret dependent, and of course in 3.2, we're getting the Hurricane, which is a very turret dependent ship, and then in 3.3, we're getting the Hammerhead, which is a almost entirely turret dependent ship. So this is a system that is, of course, going to be iterated on into the future. And, you know, there are other ships that we like to look at and kind of gauge their performance. But turret gameplay being the way it is now, it's really hard to do. So it's really hard to kind of really gauge the value of certain ships, at least in a combat sense, until we have a working turret system. So it's nice to see that, you know, they really are serious about this system and getting it to play correctly. And it's not just, okay, this is good enough for now, and we'll come back and revisit this in the future. This is something that they continue to iterate on with a high frequency. Hopefully that continues into the future, as it should. Now, into 3.3, we found out that object container streaming is kind of a prerequisite to the content in 3.3. So Hurston, its 4 moons, and everything around that, all the different sites at those locations pretty much require object container streaming to function. So for those of you, myself included, who are waiting for that to come online, know that it is a prerequisite for 3.3. Without it, 3.3 and all the content that comes along with it, which is actually larger than the initial content drop of 3.0, requires this. So if you're worried about 3.3 or object container streaming slipping into 3.4, 3.5, beyond that, it can't. For 3.3 to come out, object container streaming must come along with it. So that's going to be a very interesting patch to watch. The Idris. Now, Chris Roberts said specifically that the Idris is not coming in 3.3 or 3.4. Apparently it's still missing its missile room. That's something I guess that they're still working on, though truthfully it is probably something that is going to be released in Star Citizen around the same time that it gets released in Squadron 42. It's probably whatever development they're still working on beyond the missile room, whatever changes they still have to make, are going to be very much walking hand in hand with what they do in Squadron 42. So it may take a while until we see that capital ship in game. Now, FPS AI. Now, FPS AI is not strictly speaking a ship update, but in a roundabout way, it ends up being one, because even though it wasn't included in 3.2 as it was originally scheduled to be, it is something that is going to be coming hopefully in 3.3. But we found out an interesting little tidbit around FPS AI, specifically having AI members crew various stations in your ship, be it a turret or an engineering or a co-pilot station, things like that. Apparently, what is the prerequisite for that is getting the AI to work in Squadron 42. Those behaviors are required in order to bring them then into the persistent universe and make them work there. So in a way, even though that doesn't give us a date and or at least a patch number when we can expect it, it pretty much tells us that once we know that the AI is dialed in Squadron 42, that's probably when we can expect to see it after that in Star Citizen. So for those of you like myself who have some multi-crew ships and are wondering when we can get our AI crew members aboard and get them to start working at those various stations on our ship, the prerequisite is the AI behavior being finished for Squadron 42. And with that, that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. See you Monday.
Thank you for watching. So if you want to keep up with the latest and greatest in Star Citizen and Squadron 42's development, please follow us on our social media channels. See you soon.